welcome into Rebecca K Crochet. Today what we are going to do is a corner to corner granny square, and you can make a blanket out of this or whatever you want to do. You can go as big as you would like. What I am using this morning is a 6mm Susan Bates hook. I'm using Pound of Love in the color. This is Pound of Love. It's in the colorway Cornflower. It's size 4, 120 yards, 16 ounces because it's a pound, and it calls for a 6mm hook, and that is what I am using. I also have, this is the Cornflower. Then I'm also using Bluebell, which is this blue right here. Then I have the color Pastel Pink. They all have the same specs on them. And then I also have white, but this is Pound of Love also. It's just white. So let's get started. Okay, how we're going to start this corner to corner granny cluster is we are going to chain 4, go back into the first chain that we made, keeping our finger down here at the bottom for when we make the circle, slip stitch into that stitch, chain 2, and then we are going to do 3, we're going to chain 3, one more, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets into that circle that we just made. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to do another double crochet. We're going to work over our tail while we go. Then we are going to chain 2, 3, 4. We're going to turn our work, and then this first chain space we're going to do 3 double crochet. And in the next one, we're going to skip over these 3 double crochet, and in the next chain space, we're going to do 3 double crochet. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to do a double crochet in this last stitch. We're going to chain 4, turn our work, and we're going to double crochet, 3 double crochets back down into that space. Skip over the next chain space, to the next chain space I should say, and do 3 double crochets just like your granny clusters and just like a granny square. Skip over to the next one, do the same thing, and then chain 1 at the end, and then we're going to do a double crochet in this last stitch right here. Make sure you catch both the loops, do your double crochet, and that's what you should be looking like. Now you can change colors on the ends or in the middle, wherever you want to. You can change color at any time. I'm going to change color here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up. Let me grab my other color right quick. Okay, I'm going to pull out to those 2 loops right there. Leave those 2 on my hook. I'm going to start this with a slip knot. Pull that through, and now I'm ready to go. With this color, we're going to chain 4 again. Turn our work and go right back down into the chain space. And that's all this is going back down into the chain space. And you just go, you can make a blanket as wide as you want with this stitch. I'm just showing you this so that we can put it on our granny square blanket that we're making. And it's just 3 double crochets in the spaces in between the clusters, just like a granny square. I have a big ball of yarn coming. In that last one, and every three rows I'm going to change colors. Chain 1 at the end and go back down into this stitch. Chain 4. And what the chain 4 does is give you a space to work into. And go back down into that same space we just created. 3 double crochets across, again, the same way that we did before. If you don't know how to do a double crochet, I have that on my channel. You can go back and watch that. It's a beginner crochet channel. I've got a big mess coming up. And then you get this as wide as you want it. I'm going to change colors after the next row. 3 double crochets in the last one. A double crochet in that very last stitch. Oops, I didn't chain 1. After I chain 1 to create that space, and then a double crochet in this last stitch. Chain 4, turn our work, and that's what you're looking like now. And I am going to do 1 more pink row, then I'm going to change colors and do another row, and I will show you how to decrease, and I will be right back. Okay, so I wanted to show you this also. Whenever I go to change colors, a lot of people will say do not knot your work, but I find it's just easier to put those knots in there pretty snug. You are going to hide these knots anyway, and that just helps to keep your it keeps your yarn secure and from your stitches from coming out later on. So I use knots. I've been doing this a long time. When I first learned, all the book says no knots, but I found it's just so much easier and so much better to do the knots. So I wanted to show you all that. And I'm going to do 3 more rows in this darker color, and then I will come back and show you how to decrease. Okay, so now we are getting ready to go down and decrease, and so we're going to chain 3. We're going to turn our work. We're not going to chain 4 anymore, and we are going to go to a double crochet. We're going to skip the first one and go into the second space. And we're going to do 3 double crochets. And we're going to do 3 double crochet clusters all the way across, just like the granny square, just like we've been doing. Just our ends have changed. And just like before, it will get faster and faster to do this. If I am going too fast, you can slow me down, you can rewatch, you can speed me up. You can do what you need to do for this tutorial to work for you. And like I said, if you don't know how to do a chain, if you don't know how to do a double crochet, or even a granny square, I have all those stitches on my channel, and you can go and watch those. Now we're coming up to the end, and this is our last stitch. We're not going to do a cluster in the last stitch. So we do 3 double crochets in the last space when we have 3 double crochets over here on this side, and then we are not going to chain, and we're going to do we're going to do a double crochet here, chain 3, turn our work, and work into this, not this first one, but the second. We're going to skip over the cluster and go into the space in between the next 2 clusters. And I'm going to work that, and I'll meet you down here at this end. Okay, we are at our last cluster that we're going to make. And we are not going to chain, and we are just going to go in here and do a double crochet. We're going to chain 3, turn our work, and skip over this stitch right here, and go skip over our cluster and go into that first, the first one after our 3 double crochets, and go back across again. And that's how we decrease on this granny square cluster round. And I have a lot of yarn. That's coming up behind. So you'll see that coming up behind because I'm working with that yarn that's coming out. There's 2 and then 3. And then okay, so now we're just going to, because we're at our last one, we're just going to do a double crochet, but I'm going to change colors because that is my 3rd round, and so I'm going to change colors to this blue. And I have a slip knot already on here. And I'm going to pull that through, snug this down, and I'm going to chain 3, turn my work. We're going to skip over this first space, and we're going to go into the second space. 3 double crochets. I'm using yarn that came out of a yarn barf. So maybe under my fingers for a little bit. Try to keep that out of the road. I'm going to cut this yarn. Where is it? I'm going to cut this yarn over here. Get rid of all that. And we continue on with our 3 double crochet clusters. Our wind is really blowing today. So you might be able to hear it. We're getting that when the wind comes whipping down the plains. We're getting that right now. Okay, so now we're at the end and we are going to double crochet in our last one. We're going to chain 3, turn our work, skip over the cluster and work into the first space after the cluster. And this will get faster and faster as you decrease. Like we're already at the end, and that's why I didn't shut the camera off, because it's only just a few stitches. Double crochet in that last stitch. I only have 2, so I'm going to chain 3, turn my work, skip over, and go back into this next space. It looks like a creepy monster coming to get me. The imagination of crocheters. Well, my imagination anyway. See, it just keeps coming. You can tell how much yarn I'm using. Okay, so I'm at the end, and now I'm going to switch off. So I'm going to cut my yarn. Put that over to the side. Grab this blue yarn. It didn't have a yarn mess with it, so my pink and my blue just could not get the center pulled right. I've been working on it for days. Okay, so got a tie on. And we just continue on, and I will be back because I'm having trouble getting this thing done. But we just continue on how we've been doing. Chain 3, turn our work, 3 double crochets in each. And I'll be back and show you how we finish the edges. Because, well, I don't know if I need to do that because I'm almost to the end. Because we are at the end. Okay, and there's our square. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie on up here, and we are going to go around with we're going to go around with white is how we're going to do it, and I'll be right back. Okay, I found my white yarn, and what I'm going to do now is we are going to chain 3. And this is going to be a corner that we are working into, so we are going to go in here and do 2 double crochets for a total of the chain 3 does count as 1 double crochet. And then we're going to work over all of our yarns that we have down below, and we're going to do 3 double crochet in each of our stitches. Turn my yarn around the right way. Hard to get whenever it's facing the opposite direction. And then 3 more double crochets into this one. 3 more double crochets in this one. Pull out some more yarn. And there seems to be a lot of tails that you're working over, and that's okay. Sometimes I'll work over these tails and sometimes I will weave them in. Okay. Oops. I don't need to catch that tail. Now this one is our... Okay, so for our corner, we're going to go into this stitch right here and do 3 double crochet. Chain 2 and 3 more double crochet. Again, we're still working over our tails. Let me pull out some more yarn here. And then we will skip down to this next one and do 3 more double crochet into the space. And then go back across. I'll meet you at the next corner. In every space we'll do 3 double crochets. And if you can, work over your tails. Okay, I am at the end of this row, and right here where our starting 3 double crochet cluster is, that is where we are going to put our corner. So that's 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and then we repeat in the spaces all the way down this side until we get to this corner. And when we get to this corner, we will do our corner into the end right here of the blue or whatever color you use. And then we will do 3 more double crochet here, and I will meet you back over here. Okay, now I am up here at this corner. And this corner is just a little bit different. So I'm going to try it right here. I'm not sure. I need to do 3 more double crochet. Chain 2, slip stitch. See if that looks right. That'll work. Okay, so on the very last row, what we're going to do is or the very last stitch here, this is where our corner needs to be. So we're going to take the stitch in the middle and we are going to create our own corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochet in that middle stitch, chain 2, and 3 more double crochet. And then we're going to slip stitch over here to our first top of our chain 3, and that is how you do the granny square, corner to corner granny square. And that's what you should look like. And this will give you a base to attach the rest of your squares to, or make it bigger or smaller, however you need to do it. So there you have it. Hope you have a great day. Like, subscribe, and do all the good YouTube things.